They called me dad for 12 years. Then one night, they looked me dead in the eye and said, "You're not our real father." This is how my perfect family destroyed me. Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Kenji, and today I'm sharing the most painful story of my life. Because sometimes loving the wrong people will absolutely destroy you. When I met Akira, she was broken. A widow with 2 little ones. Hiroshi was 4, always running around with his toy cars, asking a million questions. Little Yuki was barely walking, clinging to her mother's leg wherever they went. Their father, a military hero, died in action. Heroes don't come home. Akira was drowning, working double shifts, trying to keep everything together. I saw this exhausted woman fighting the world alone. So I stepped in, not because anyone asked, because I wanted to. I wanted to be the father these kids lost. Give them stability. Make sure they never felt incomplete. And for years, I did exactly that. I worked brutal hours, but never missed a school play. Front row, clapping the loudest. Every birthday had cake, presents, laughter. Every vacation created memories they'd treasure forever. They didn't call me Kenji. They called me Dad. I believed it. They loved me like a father. I loved them like my own blood. I felt like the luckiest man alive. But life has a twisted sense of humor. Just when everything feels perfect, the ground shifts beneath your feet. Little disrespectful comments started. Nothing major. I brushed it off. It's just a phase, I told myself. They're growing up. God, I was so wrong. You know what people say about teenagers? They get moody, push boundaries, think they know everything. I expected that. What I didn't expect was how quickly 12 years of love would get thrown back in my face. Hiroshi turned 17. Suddenly thought he was too grown for rules. Coming home past midnight. Ignoring curfews. Brushing off my advice like garbage. Yuki at 14 wasn't far behind. Copying everything her brother did. Rolling her eyes. Acting like nothing I said mattered. Clean up after yourselves. They wouldn't. Focus on schoolwork. They'd shrug and walk away. Let's talk. They'd barely listen. When I tried setting boundaries, oh, they pushed back hard. I wasn't asking for much. Just basic respect. To them, rules were oppression. Authority was control. Here's where it gets worse. Every time a kid's talked back, I'd look to Akira, expecting her to step in. She never did. Just sat there, quiet, pretending to check her phone, sighing like I was being unreasonable. At first, I made excuses. She's tired. She doesn't want another argument. She's keeping the peace. Over time, it became crystal clear. This wasn't passive parenting. She was letting them treat me this way. That should have been my first wake-up call. The night everything changed, I remember it perfectly. Hiroshi strolled in past midnight. No call, no text, just walked in like he owned the place. I wasn't yelling, wasn't angry, just asked, "Where have you been?" Expected some guilt, maybe an apology. Instead, he rolled his eyes. "Relax, I'm not a kid." I said, "You live under my roof, you follow my rules. If you can't respect that, we have a problem." He looked me dead in the eye. "You're not my real dad. Stop acting like you own me." I swear for a second, my whole body went cold. Then sweet little Yuki nodded. "Yeah, you're just some guy our mom married." I turned to Akira, waiting for her to say something. Correct them. Tell them they were out of line. She didn't. Just stood there. No anger. No disappointment. Nothing. That moment, something inside me broke. You'd think after everything I'd done, after all those years raising them, there'd be a limit to the disrespect I'd take. There wasn't. Because a few days later, it happened again. This time, Akira joined in. It started over something stupid. Yuki left a mess in the kitchen. Plates piled up. Crumbs everywhere. Spilled juice on the floor. I told her calmly, "Clean up after yourself." Basic responsibility. Instead of doing it, she looked at me. "Why don't you do it? It's your house, isn't it?" That stung. But before I could respond, Hiroshi chimed in. "Why are you always trying to boss us around? You're not even our real dad." Then came Akira's voice. Soft. Casual. Like what she was about to say wouldn't haunt me forever. "They have a point, Kenji. Maybe ease up." She didn't even look up from her phone. Didn't have the decency to meet my eyes. I can't explain what happened inside me. It wasn't just anger. It wasn't just hurt. It was clarity. That was it. The moment I knew I was done. That night, I sat alone in the dark, thinking about all the years I'd spent caring for those kids, all the sacrifices I'd made. Despite everything, I was nothing to them. If I was nothing to them, maybe it was time I started acting like it. So I did something I should have done long ago. I stopped. Stopped giving. Stopped caring. Stopped trying. No more rides to school. They could figure it out. No more allowances. I wasn't their bank. No more protection. They could deal with trouble themselves. No more stepping in. No more advice. No more help. They didn't want me as a father? Fine. They could see what life was like without one. I'll be honest. It hurt more than I can put into words. But deep down, I knew it was the only way. Ever notice how some people don't appreciate what they have until it's gone? How they think they can treat you like garbage, and you'll just keep taking it. That was Hiroshi, Yuki, and Akira. When I stopped acting like their father, they thought it was a joke. At first, they laughed. Good, now we don't have to deal with him bossing us around. Mom's got us. We don't need him. For a while, they didn't feel the impact. Because Akira picked up my slack, funded their shopping trips, made sure their weekends were filled with fast food outings and unnecessary spending. She kept them comfortable, kept them cocky, kept feeding them the idea that they didn't need me. They laughed behind my back, smirked when I walked past, made sarcastic comments like I wasn't even there. But I kept quiet, because I knew something they didn't. Akira wasn't made of money, and I was the one who'd been holding this family together. So I waited. Then it happened. At first, just little things. Weekend shopping sprees brought home fewer bags. Fast food runs became less frequent. New clothes? Their closets stopped overflowing. Then it got worse. School fees were due. Akira started getting nervous. Hiroshi got in trouble at school. Normally, I'd step in. Not this time. Yuki's phone broke. Usually, I'd replace it without a second thought. Not this time. Worst of all, no more Uber rides. They actually had to take the bus. I remember the first morning Hiroshi missed his ride. He thought someone would cover for him. When he realized no one was coming, he sprinted 3 blocks to catch the city bus. Yuki complained to Akira, "Why can't you just get us another ride?" Akira said, "Because I don't have the money for that right now." The moment I heard that, I smiled. The reality check had arrived. It took about a month before Akira finally cracked. One night, I came home, and she was waiting in the kitchen, arms crossed, face red, ready for a fight. "You're being a damn child, Kenji. What kind of man punishes his own family just because his feelings are hurt? You're neglecting your responsibilities." I just stood there staring, because there it was. That word, responsibilities. Not love, not family, not respect. I was just a responsibility, a provider. I asked her plain and simple, "Why do you never defend me? Why do you always let them talk to me like that?" That's when she slipped, sneered, "Because I agree with them, Kenji. You were never really their father." I felt something inside me go ice cold. She kept going, "I told them not to let you control them. I raised them alone before you, and I can do it again." I should have been angry, maybe heartbroken. You know what I felt? Relief. Because finally, she said it out loud. Finally, I knew the truth. I was never their father, never her partner, just a walking paycheck, a convenience. Hiroshi and Yuki stood in the hallway watching, arms crossed, smug little looks on their faces. This is it. This is who they really are. I nodded, turned around, walked away. Not because I was weak, because I was done. I always believe that when people show you who they are, you should believe them. Now I had no choice but to accept the truth. The kids became more aggressive since I stopped funding their lives. My belongings started going missing. Work files vanished overnight. My car was keyed in our driveway. Deep scratches along the driver's side. At first, I didn't want to believe they were capable of this. Then one night, I came home to find my closet raided. My clothes shredded to pieces, thrown across the floor. That's when I checked the security cameras. There they were, Hiroshi and Yuki, laughing as they tore through my things. For weeks, I played along, let them think they'd won, remained quiet, distant, unaffected, even as they tried harder to provoke me. But behind the scenes, I was documenting everything. I recorded their threats, saved every hostile text, took pictures of my destroyed belongings, made sure I had irrefutable proof of the environment I'd been living in. I started quietly putting my exit plan into motion, met with a lawyer, explained everything, provided all the evidence I'd gathered. The threats, the destruction of my property, the hostile environment. The lawyer assured me I had a solid case for divorce. Given the circumstances, I could request a restraining order if necessary. The process took time. Weeks of legal meetings, paperwork, formal reports. I filed an official police report regarding the damage to my belongings. Though authorities weren't going to storm the house over destroyed items, the documented history of threats strengthened my case. Then one morning, after everything had been processed, I left an envelope on the kitchen counter before heading to work. Inside, Akira found the divorce papers. At first, she thought I was bluffing. Then she got to the next set of documents. Attached were copies of my police reports, documentation of threats, evidence of property damage. My lawyer advised including it to protect myself from any false accusations she might throw my way. I didn't answer her calls. I'd already moved out, taking only things I cared about. The joint bank accounts? Closed. Any money she thought she had access to? Gone. Everything was in my name. She had no legal claim over any of it. Now she was on her own. When Akira's calls went unanswered, the messages started rolling in. At first, full of anger and blame. "You're such a coward, Kenji. You ran away the moment things got tough. You were never a real man. A real father doesn't abandon his family. I don't need you. I could take care of my kids just fine without you." Almost laughable. This was the same woman who'd encouraged those kids to turn against me, treat me like an outsider in my own home. Now she was pretending like I'd abandoned them, when in reality, they'd throw me away first. I didn't bother replying. Nothing left to say. Weeks passed, then months. Messages from Akira slowed down. Reality had set in. She was actually on her own now. No more financial security blanket. No more easy money. She'd always talked a big game about doing it alone. But I knew the truth. She'd gotten used to the life I provided. Without me, it wasn't so easy anymore. Then out of nowhere, I got different messages. This time from the kids. First message was simple. "Hey, can we talk?" I didn't reply. Few days later. "I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but things aren't great right now." Still didn't reply. Few days later, Yuki reached out. "Hey, Kenji. I just wanted to say I hope you're doing okay." I stared at my screen, thumb hovering over the keyboard. I didn't type anything. Over the next few weeks, messages kept coming. Slowly, the tone changed. At first, casual, weak attempts to break the ice. Then regret started creeping in. "I just wanted to say sorry for everything. We should have treated you better. Things have been hard since you left. Mom's not handling things well." Finally, the one that almost made me laugh. "I miss you." I'll let the messages sit there unread. Didn't respond. Didn't acknowledge them. Because I was free. If there's one thing I've learned from all this, never let people take you for granted. Never beg for respect. Never waste energy trying to prove your worth to people who refuse to see it. Most importantly, when you realize you're being used, walk away. Because some people only realize your value once they've lost you. By then, it's too damn late. Walking away from Akira and the kids was the hardest thing I ever did. Not because I still wanted them in my life, but because for so long, I'd convinced myself that I needed them. That being a good man meant enduring disrespect. That love meant sacrificing your dignity. I was wrong. A man who values himself doesn't stick around where he's not appreciated. Now I live for myself. Focus on my career, my goals, my happiness. I spend time with people who actually care about me. Reconnected with old friends. Traveled. Started new hobbies I never had time for before. I don't wake up every morning wondering what drama is waiting for me. I wake up free. And that, my friends, is how I reclaim my life. Moral of the story. Never let people treat you like an ATM. Never beg for respect. Most importantly, they only realize your worth once you're gone. Let me know what you think about this story in the comments. And while you're at it, like and share this video with someone who needs to hear this today.